Hello, good day, and welcome to Sports Clinic on Nigeria Live TV. My name is Appah, and of course, you know how we roll. I'll be your doctor for today, but I'll not be doing the talking alone because it's a special edition. It's more like a Prosperity Cup edition. You'll be seeing this more often. I have with me the media coordinator of the Prosperity Cup, Hananeel Jackson. Good to have you, Mr. Hananeel.
Good afternoon, and it's good to be here.
Okay, good to be here. I also have with me the one that is the CEO of the Affini side last season, talking about the Prosperity Cup, a side that is the ladies that won the female edition of the Prosperity Cup. A whole lot of money. I've not really sent him my account number yet, but after now I'll do that. Coach Anthony, or Coach Tony Fouye. Good to have you, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And I must also add that is the chairman of Grassroots Coaches Association of Bielsa. I'll add that. But before we talk Prosperity Cup proper, before my guys come in and we talk about the season 8 proper, let's talk about results of matches that were played in the Cremor local government area, South Anijo and Yenegua local government. Let's start from the Swale Center, where yesterday we saw Dynamic Scraps Academy losing 3-0 to Izwar Gillette. Ikolo FC defeating Dynamic Boys by 11 goals to nil. For this name, Dynamic maybe should not be used because they all lost, and in aggregate that's more like 14-0. Anything Dynamic, please, for now you guys have to change that name. That's on the lighter note though. Moving to the BDGS Center, we saw Japes International School playing out a 1-1 draw with Stadium Life, but Japes International School advancing 4-2 on penalties. We saw Manchester defeating Ayama FC by 1-0 in the Tumbia Center. It was Advanced Dreams FA losing by 3-0 to Slaughter FC. They were slaughtered. And CBN, it's not money, of course, it's football. You already know the result. They will not win. It's football, so come on. They lost 8-0 to MFM FC. I believe Mountain of Fire FC. Last season I watched these boys and I saw what they did. They played very well. Let's see how far they can go this season. At the Obuna Center, we saw Brazil FC defeating Premium STD by 4-1. Rich Destiny FA, of course, they were rich, and they defeated Winchester City by 3-1. In the Banshia Center, we saw Bielsa United Feeders pommeling Osaro FC by 8-0. Northern Strikers striking hard, 3-2 it ended in favor of them against Fountain FC. At the Okodia Center, it was TVA FC 2, ADC Youth 1. Arizona Celtic losing by 3-0 to Akemfa FC. At the Biogbolo Center, we saw Bielsa Stars playing out a 0-0 scoreline with Pioneers FC, but Pioneers FC won 3-1 on penalties. Columbia FC also losing by 1-0 to Affini FC. Of course, the coach Sabi work. I must say that if you see these boys play, you know that this is football. This is not by luck. You know that there's coaching added to it. It's not like some teams where, in fact, it's all about the boys. Go out there, express yourself, do what you have to do. The results come, and that is it. But for this Affini side, last season I followed them. I know that at least you give the coach some credit too. Not because he's here, but even before now, I've been saying this. And now let's move to the Igbogene Center, where we saw AJ Soccer playing out 1-1 draw with Mighty FC. Mighty FC 1-5-4 on penalties. Okodia United defeating BMU Strikers by 4-0. BMU guys didn't have any strikers. Remove that strikers from your name. Just go with the BMU. At the Opuruma Center, we saw Otuan FC playing out a 0-0 draw with Oyoma FC. Oyoma FC advancing 4-3 on penalties. That's now moving to South Anijo. Masoma Center 1, we saw Madagascar FC losing by 3-0 to Saturday FC on a Tuesday. Come on, on Saturday, you guys are winning on a Tuesday. Still in the Masoma Center 2, we saw Block 6 FC defeating Family FC by 1-0. And for Block 6 FC, it could have been a different result if not for their goalkeeper. Like, Family FC outplayed them, but football is a game of results. Yeah, sometimes you play very well and you don't win, and they say no, it's all about the results. Let's go to Ayamasa Center in the Cremor local government area, where we saw Crusaders FC playing out a 0-0 draw with Ayamasa City FC. Crusader won 4-3 on penalties, and they've won. That's their center, so they've qualified for the round of 32. Moving to Inewari Center and the Cremor local government area, we saw Polo Bubo, Polo Bubo. Yeah, this tournament where you see so many names that sometimes very difficult to pronounce. But please, in case I murder some of these names, please do well to forgive me. We saw Polo Bulo FC losing by 2 goals to 0 to Federal Polytechnic Ekewe, and we saw Ineware defeating Pere United by 3 goals to 0. So those were the matches that we saw in the previous round of games. But Hananeel, let me bring you in on this one. We've seen some surprising results. Let's start with the one of City Boy FC, and now I'm seeing Advanced Dream and Winchester and some other teams that you talk about popularity and not just popularity. Talk about what they've done in terms of pedigree. You'd want to fancy these names that I've mentioned. Advanced Dreams last year going all the way to the final. Then for City Boy FC, this is a team that is being run very well. We know their pedigree, but for City Boy, first round out, and now Advanced Dream out of the tournament.
Yeah, for City Boy, one would have expected that having drawn in that group where you have maybe less fancy teams like we have the likes of Appah FC, where we have the Appah FC or Rashi FC, Abureni FC. I would have expected them to have scaled through. That's why sometimes when I see these coaches complain, I mean, Bureni FC is a team located somewhere at a place called Idema. Yeah, Idema is between Ogbia and Nembe, but for them, the expenses of taking a boat from Idema to Nembe is close to 250,000 naira. So
Wow.
they walk from Idema to Ogbia Junction. They trek close to 5 to 6 hours,
Wow.
and they play and they manage to get to I think the third round before they were eliminated on penalty by I think Apretia FC. So I mean it tells you the level of determination. So for City Boy, one would have expected them that this year would have been their year. Haven't won the Ogbia championship last year, but they came this year. They won the first game. The second, the first match was against Apretia FC. Apretia FC, yes, they've not been fantastic, fantastic. But I think the last year, I think they won a tournament hosted at the Colo Creek, which they did well. So for Apretia FC, it was nice for them. But for City Boy, yes, they have to go back again and regroup. Good 18, they have a feeder team that they try to use to correct the wrongs, yes, of which they had with the senior team. So I think that was the upset. On Advanced Dream FC, I think Advanced Dream were disqualified.
Okay.
We are disqualified actually, which I don't want to go into details of how they are disqualified. Apart from that, we've seen a lot of upsets so far. Of course, this tournament is known for upset because if you don't prepare, I remember a year when this team, EGM,
Yeah.
they won the tournament,
Yes.
and the next year they were defended. They were playing at the Apollo Center, and I think was it God's Sharon or what's in
I
one of
think
the
there's
Sharon?
something called
It
Sharon.
was
or something
Sharon
like
FC.
that, yeah.
They were shocked in that center by that team, that Sharon team. So this competition is known for its peculiar upsets. We've seen even Crusaders too.
Yes.
In the 3 games which they've played, it has ended on penalty shootouts. They've not won
Outrightly.
outrightly. It has been on penalty shootout. So it tells you how competitive. It tells you that every team wants to win. And let's see how the tournament goes because I think there will be more fixtures tomorrow, and I think from there we'll begin to see how the boys will be separated from the men.
Yeah, we'll begin to see that. But also, Coach Tony, there's something that most coaches do almost every year. I won't call it a mistake anymore. Sometimes it's not down to the coaches. I'd say some players are very selfish because you know very well that you've registered or played somewhere else, and then you'd come and then register for another. In fact, Some is more like trying their luck, register in 3 or 2 places. You see, maybe Nimbe Brass is starting first. They will go there, play, and once they've been knocked out, you see them keeping quiet and coming back to maybe Yenegua or any other local government and then still play, thereby making the team to be disqualified. How have you coaches been able to handle situations like that? Because I think even as much as it has reduced, it is still happening.
Yeah, definitely still happening, and I think one happened recently, even during this ongoing Prosperity Cup. One thing about it is that the coaches themselves, we try our best to do our findings, do our own investigations. But you know, these boys, the way they operate, most of them, you really can checkmate them properly. And so, just as you say, some of them they do random registrations around teams, around the local governments, because the way the Prosperity Cup is going now, they play one local government after the other. And so, most of them they take advantage of that. I had a situation like that. A boy called me from this area where Crusaders is.
Crusader, yeah.
Yeah.
He told me he has not played,
Kremo.
that he has not played at all. Just I think 2 days before we played our game, that should be 2 days before yesterday.
Yes.
That he has not played at all. That can I register him and stuff like that. I said, "Boy, you're a good player and you're in this area, and I know teams will always come for you."
Yes.
But he said he has never played. He has not played at all. I said, "Okay, just give me time. Let me ask 1 or 2 questions." And I found out that he has played for one of the teams that got eliminated, and so he wanted a situation whereby he can come to Yanagua and play. And so doing, me, I'll just be innocently registering him. But at the end of the day, these things, it's not hard to find out who has played.
Yeah.
And by the time these things happen, you find yourself like being disqualified for your negligence or your mistakes. And so basically, coaches need to do their findings. The players need to be really sincere.
Yeah.
But above all, these things, they are just so somehow impossible to curb, because sometimes, like last year, I remember GMC, the team General organized, coordinates. They were playing, I think, in Tombia village or so. A player came just like this, and that he has not played. And 1 or 2 people raised the alarm that this guy has played, but they were like, no, he's a good player, he has not played. And they featured the guy, and they got eliminated, disqualified through that means. And so it's so hard to cope, but we'll do our best. And we keep trying our best to see that, okay, we follow these players, we checkmate them properly. But unfortunately, if it happens to you, you have to learn from it and move on.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think one thing, let me chip in, let me add to it. I think one thing too, it has to be with the sincerity of the players too.
Yes.
The players, most of them are not being sincere to themselves. I witnessed one at Ogbea Center, I think Kutupoti Center, Diamond FC and Ochokbeng. And the Diamond FC and Ochokbeng, they are teams from the same community. And the guy has registered for the guy did not even register for the Diamond FC before he played. So, and when they were asking this player, he said no. He denied. So, the players themselves are not being, the coaches here, they can, yes, do their own findings. But if you do your finding and the player is not sincere, before you know, it is the team that will get the punishment. So I think the players themselves need to be sincere so that you don't use your error to disqualify an entire team.
Yes, I'd agree with you on that. In as much as I don't want to mention the player's name, I was the one that gave that young boy his debut. Very fine player. I recall the first time I wanted to start him. I know I was like, he's too small. This is a big match. Why are you trying to put this small boy? But I believe in, if you're good enough, then you're old enough. That's my rule. So it's not about age. I know Coach Tony is the certified coach here. I know that. But 2022, of course, I've told you guys that I was a coach to Prosperity Cup 2022, finishing fourth with Ayamogbia FC. So at least I have a bit of idea and love for coaching. Talking about coaching, let's start with you, Hananeel Jackson. There was a coaching clinic twice that was held. There was the first one with Barcelona, FC Barcelona of Spain, and the second one with the technical advisor and his team that is talking about Augustine Guavo. So how impactful has that been? I know Coach Tony will come out and talk about some things that he felt maybe, okay, these were positives that he could go home with, but let's bring you in first.
Yeah, I think we must really commend the organizers of the tournament and the Bayelsa State government for funding the the FC Barcelona and the Prosperity Cup coaching clinic. Now, what they're doing is they're trying to see if we can equip these coaches. And you will agree with me that last year, the coaches who won the tournament are coaches who took part in the coaching clinic. Coach Tony himself here, and also the other coach too, Bobo, who also took part too. So I think for this series of coaching clinic, I think it has really helped to equip these coaches at the grass. Some of them may not have the opportunity to go to NIS in Lagos, but with the Prosperity Cup, they've been able to equip themselves, uh, especially the FC Barcelona coaching clinic in collaboration with the Prosperity Cup. That has really helped us, and I think going forward, we want to see. Going forward, we know that we are going to see an improved team. I saw yesterday at the Bansha Center how um, the the Bayelsa feeders and I think the other team, the Northern Strikers, and yeah, the Fantasy. I mean, they play this kind of tiki-taka football despite the nature of the pitch. It means that the program has really impacted them. So it was quite commendable. Going to the NFFD license, which was the State Football Association in collaboration with the Prosperity Cup, and certificates were issued to each of these coaches that took part. I think about 36 or 38 coaches thereabouts. And for that now, you are now a certified coach. From there now, you can now move to CAF C. CAF C. So with when it gets those one, it means that you are making progress in life. Normally, these are things that maybe you would have spent more going to Lagos or going to Abuja, but the FA and Prosperity Cup they brought it here to ensure that these coaches are impacted positively because apart from the trophy, from winning the trophy and the prize money, what we should be looking at is at the end of this tournament, has this tournament been able to impact you as a coach? Has this tournament been able to impact you as a player? I think it shouldn't not, shouldn't just be on maybe the trophy and the money. So I think the Prosperity Cup has become an institution, and also a breeding ground for coaches, and it has also become a breeding ground for also referees. Because yesterday I saw a 14-year-old referee. I think his name is Udwak Elisha at the corner. So the referees too. I think this year we must say that has been the best. The pre-tournament preparation where we've had the coaching clinic, the FC Barcelona coaching clinic, the referee refresher courses, and also the coordinators and the media training, which had never happened before. What we did is that we ensure that every department is equipped. Every department, you know that we have the prerequisite knowledge of before we go to, and right now we can see the dividend of it. The medical too, the medical department too were also equipped with knowledge. So what we did is to ensure that every department is strengthened going forward. So like I said, the Prosperity Cup, apart from the prize money, it has become an institution of learning.
Okay, Coach Tony, let me bring you in and let's hear about some take homes from the coaching clinics, the two coaching clinics.
All right, thank you very much. Uh, just like Malgaya has said, he has spoken a lot about this whole stuff. But I think we should break it down in some areas because most of the things he spoke about, they are just the basic truth about the whole stuff. First, the cost. If as a coach you're to get this forms of different kind of coaching clinic and knowledge that we've gotten within just 2 weeks or 3 weeks combined, you should spend close to at least $1 million plus. And the logistics to bring these people here, it's not really easy. So we must commend the government, commend the Prosperity Cup organizers, commend the FA for making this possible, because I know I had like 4 friends, coaches that were in NIS last year, and I know you know the cost. I know what it takes to feed, to sustain,
The
to
accommodation,
survive.
yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so you're just here, your very backyard, and this whole stuff that is
Happening.
international and that is global,
Yeah.
and you're seeing these icons and very important personalities coming here to just impart it to you like almost on a platter of nothing. So we really appreciate the effort. So on the side of cost, it has saved us a lot of cost, a lot of financial stress, and that's one aspect. The other aspect is definitely the tactical aspect. As coaches, we get to improve our tactical approach to the game, know some more, and kind of unlearn some
Some more,
things
yeah.
you have known before. Because during the, especially the Barcelona, you know, normally in my training sessions, we do this normal stuff we call in our pidgin language, Jojo, like.
Yeah, Jojo.
But
one
during that
person
course,
Yeah.
there were some other, additional stuffs to it that I never knew existed, like
Wow.
that will generally improve the pattern of play on the field of play.
Yeah.
Introducing some jokers, then placing some people by the side, and some stuff like that that I never knew there could be more beyond just 2 people or 1 person running around.
Yeah.
And then coming to CAF D, I mean, we taught one very unique topic, safeguarding. There is more to how you handle the players and how they'll give you some good result on the field. Basically, how you psych them up, how you get them prepared. You learn some things, like some things you just say, you don't know how demoralizing it is to the
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
So above all, it taught us a lot of things, and it taught us some areas how to drop some things that we've been doing that we never knew were so, like, had negative consequences on our players. So above all, we are so glad. We appreciate the gesture. It has turned our lives around, and the quality of play in the Governor's Cup will continue to improve, because these trainings, they've really changed our mentality about the game. They've really helped us to up our game, and it's not just about grassroots anymore. We are
Yes.
thinking how to take it to the elite level,
Yeah.
because these trainings, they are just elite things that they teach us. So it also helps you as a coach to think of how you get from the level you are to elevate your standard to more international or more acceptable audience. So it's been positive, and we want to commend the Prosperity Cup organizers, and we pray they keep doing more, because the beauty about this Prosperity Cup is that it gets better every year. The packages are more, the trainings are more. There is something new introduced along the line that we don't see from last year. I mean, nobody thought of seeing Barcelona anywhere close. Nobody was thinking about seeing, and from nowhere. At first, when they were, I know what some people by the side were saying, oh, they've come again, this is, but it happened live and direct.
Yeah.
And so we commend them and we thank them. The coaches are grateful, and it has transformed our lives a lot.
Okay, and I think that would be for the Prosperity Cup segment, but it will be a weekly edition. We'll still bring you updates we'll still sit down and talk about the Prosperity Cup. It's happening again, more like a weekly edition. But before we call it a wrap today, Coach Tony, someone that, from when I saw his Affini side the last edition, I'm like, okay, I like the way he disciplined his team. I must say that, because there were some key players that came very late for the match, and for some coaches, they will still allow them to play. They was okay, these are my best players, but I like how disciplined he was. So like, Coach Tony, I had to ask 1 or 2 questions for my guys that really know about grassroots football. So they're like, he's a very good coach. This is how it is. Then one day, I came across his book. I don't know how I came across it, and I read it, and I said, I wish I read this book before 2022. I wish I read this book before I was coaching. Then I could have been a better coach, because it was so impactful. I learned a lot. but he has written another book, and this one is Know Your Body. Know Your Body. Yes. So Know Your Body. That is the title of the book. As a sports person, you must know your body. And one role model I can talk about when you talk about knowing your body is Cristiano Ronaldo. Your body is very important. Your body is very important. You must know that your body is your selling point. That's what you used to work. So you must know your body. But I'm not the author of the book. I'd allow Coach Tony to talk briefly about this book.
Thank you very much for the privilege once again. And just as you said, this is my second book. The first one was Beyond the Pitch, just highlighting some of the very important things that we need to put in place and that directly impacts how we operate or how impactful we can be on the pitch. And that was the first one. And this is the second one. It's actually Know Your Body, Control the Game.
Yeah.
And basically, we know now people don't read much. That's the truth. And if we bring it down to the aspect of footballers and sports people, it's even worse because social media is everywhere. People want to watch TikTok videos. People want to just be scrolling through their phones. But the nature of this game, football, it's almost like you have to be 90% good upstairs, then like 10% your feet does the rest. And so if you're not intellectually sound or your mind and your thinking is not in place, trust me, you can't really perform well. Yeah. And so that has been my basic motivation about writing this whole. I have a lot of them. I just wrote them, compiled them, kept them until one of my players came around. He said, what are all these things? I said, I just wrote some short books. And he said, why don't I put them out there? Oh. I was thinking maybe I'll just paste them on Facebook. It was the one, that motivated me that put them out there. And I looked at it, I said, okay, for example, this book, the compilation could go up to like 300 pages. But I know people don't read much, so I decided let me just be making them small, like 50, 60 pages, something of one sitting. So coming to this book, Know Your Body, as vast as we are as footballers, the truth is that we are uniquely different. Our bodies are completely different, and how our bodies operate and what it needs for one person may not be the one that is necessarily, needed for the other person. But the truth is that most footballers don't know about this. Someone could jog around the field 20 laps. That's what he needs to operate. Someone may just need 10. You understand? Normally, in a team setting, we have general training programs for everybody. But how our bodies react or digest these informations or the time it takes, it varies.
Okay, Coach, sorry to come in because I've been meaning to ask. Because for Mikel Obi, he came out to say that the laziest player he has seen in training is Eden Hazard. And when he gets to the match, he performs very well. Because initially I thought everybody must be like a Cristiano Ronaldo training kind of this thing, but everybody must not necessarily train like Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's why I didn't last.
So kind of I was going to come to this because everything you do has consequences. It doesn't matter if you're having results. Normally we know we have a general training, like a team program for all players. And it is important as a player you try to meet up to those training programs. Definitely the strength level even in the team is not the same. Some players can go all training programs, some cannot meet up to a certain level. I don't really think, or I don't really want to say that maybe he doesn't turn up for trainings. I just feel like maybe he doesn't really commit to them so wholeheartedly. And there are players like that. And I highlighted like an example there. Like when I was in secondary school, we used to have these guys, they don't come to class. They stay out of class, they sleep in the hostel. I went to a boarding school. But when it's time for test, when these guys, they come, they beat all of us there in class, especially in mathematics. But later on, I was so inquisitive. I wanted to know what's happening. I found out these guys, even though they don't come to class, when those of us who go to class and they just say, let me see your notebooks. And they just glance through.
Screen
and they pick this stuff. And you that you've gone to class, you will be doing something else when you're supposed to read. And so basically this book, it will help a lot of players to understand how, when it comes to food, some players don't know what works for their body. They eat everything,
Yeah.
anything they see. They eat at the wrong time. You want to play a game by 1 p.m. and you're eating by 12. If your body is not 12:30, if your body is not structured in the right way to operate with that, you go into the field and you'll be like a python that swallowed something. You can move. But I know of someone who a match 1 o'clock, he will eat 12:45 and he will be the best player.
Wow.
That's how his body is, and that's how he can operate best.
Yeah.
But as we say, these things have consequences, because if you're eating so close to when there is a game,
Yeah.
you may be functioning, but we've had players who collapse on the field.
Mm.
We've had players who had cardiac arrest. These are the consequences. So there is a way it ought to be done right. And this is what this book is all about. Just understand what works for your body. I made an example when I was briefly with George Turner when he just came out. The team came out that time. We had a midfielder,
Mm.
very good player, now not so active. His name is Azibapu.
Okay.
When we want to go for a game, we're going to play a game. Once we are out of the bus, and he's the first to dress, and he goes straight to warming up before we come, because his body doesn't tune up even with just normal team warm-ups. He has to be tuning up at least, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes before he now joins the team warm-up. That's how he is able to perform. If not, when the game starts, you'll still be looking for him the first 15, 20 minutes. He has not tuned up
Yeah.
properly. So these are just vital things for footballers to know. Everybody, we are carriers of different kind of makeup as bodies. So you must know that and know what works for you when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to case of injuries, as I highlighted here, because even injuries, they come with their uniqueness.
Yeah.
You can never predict them when they will come. You don't know how. Some players just trying to just warm up, they get injured. Some a tackle that you don't even expect something serious, you tend to hear something more complicated. So even in that case, then I talked about nutrition. Then there's something I started the book with. I talked about something called the art of stock taking. Yeah. In that situation, many players are not good stock takers of their body. Okay. You spend the whole day, you can assess how your day has gone and why your body feels somehow. You can't even trace back. Maybe before you got to the field, you started feeling some discomfort. You can even just think back, okay, I ate something like this, like an hour ago or 2 hours ago, or I ate something I've not eaten before. You should be good at taking stock of how your day goes, because it will help you to know how your body reacts and what you shouldn't be eating or what you shouldn't be doing. So these are just a few points about this book.
Okay, and I think for this one, I'll take this one. If I'm taking it, I believe the likes of Hananeel Jackson needs one too, because in the last edition of the Clinton Thompson tournament, his team did not do very well, and it did not last long on the pitch.
No,
So
no. To me, I think I must commend Tony for putting this together, because we are in an era where the reading culture is really has really gone bad.
Yes.
People don't read. You see people, when you put up maybe an article of maybe 5 paragraphs, maybe they'll just read maybe the first and the second
Yes.
paragraph and they are on. So for someone to read long, like this book reminds me of when we were secondary school, Lamb Tales from Shakespeare,
yeah,
where a collection of Shakespeare, all his books. I think what that book did is to help you to read all the Shakespeare books. Was it Tempest? Was it Merchant of Venice? Macbeth, Othello, and Romeo and Juliet. So if you cannot read the full, so when you buy Tempest and you read, and this book, and in that book now they were able to just make it, to just summarize it, and it passes the message. So I think I must commend you for that. And I think it also goes this way too. I think it reminds me of psychology, what we call classical conditioning. Is a behavior that I think when you continue doing it, it gets used to you. And I think I must commend you for this. It
Thank you,
takes
boss.
people who are dedicated, who have something upstairs to be able to put this together. Some people see it's possible and people who are dumb.
Yes,
Yes.
that's true.
True.
Also, I think I'd agree with Hananeel there, because from for Coach Tony is a very humble person, I must say, and if you've not heard him speak, you might maybe misunderstand. But when he talks, you'd want to look back and like, okay, this is a very smart man. But one of these days, we'll still have him, and would really talk about Coach Tony more. This is just on the surface, because there's more to Coach Tony. Yeah, he's a footballer too, but
Yeah.
not very active. But we'll talk more about that. But
An
for
author.
but for the book, for the book, in just in case you need a copy, also the number where you can reach Coach Tony to get the book is 09047419426. I'll take it very slowly. 09047419426. So that's the number that you can reach Coach Tony on to, at least to get a copy of this book. It's not much. It's not much. At least get it and read it. As a sports person, I advise. It's not just about football only. As a sports person, just do well to read this book. It's very helpful. You'll thank me later. But guys, we don't have much time again. Just before we wrap up today's edition, let me start with Ananel. Your parting words for today.
I think we have to, everyone should come and key into the Prosperity Cup. The Prosperity Cup has come to stay, and Prosperity Cup is unlocking many grassroots players, players who have not maybe had the platform to maybe go to abroad, players who have not had the platform to maybe get a team through the Prosperity Cup. The Prosperity Cup has opened doors for many grassroots players and grassroots coaches. So I encourage coaches and players to make use of the opportunity.
Okay, Coach Tony.
Uh, Once again, thank you for having us, and we're really grateful for the opportunity. And one thing about me, I never stop thanking people, because for myself, being part of CAFD, I got the opportunity from being nominated by the Prosperity Cup as one of the winners last year. So taking off every cost or anything for me. So I can't thank them enough. And I can thank all those that have been supportive and helpful. Uh, the grassroots, let me talk about the grassroots here, because I represent the grassroots.
Yes.
And basically, we just want to reach out to people to show more support to grassroots coaches and to their cause. Currently, we're coming up with a tournament that is supposed to start on the 29th. We are having the screening on Saturday, and all we have to do is keep the young lads busy. For example, Prosperity Cup going on now for under 18 and above.
Yes.
We have under 13 there, we have under 10 there, we have the ladies there under 16. So we keep doing our beats and trying to see how we keep our young lads off the street from crime and a lot of drugs and things that are ravaging them and taking them off their purpose in life. All we need is just support, and our basic needs are not too, difficult to notice. We just need some resources, some funding, and some equipments just to keep functioning. So please, if you're around any grassroots coach or you want to reach out to the association, please do. Your support will go a long way to helping us to keep functioning and being impactful. So once again, thank you very much for having us. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. I must say, I'm very grateful that you guys came around and I have a good time. But before we go, I always add that Niger Live TV is officially open for business. If you're looking to boost your brand through paid adverts or sponsorships, we are ready to partner with you. You can reach us right now via call or WhatsApp on our studio line 081 Let me take it again. 081 For physical consultations, visit our head office at number 122 Imbiama Yenagwa Road, Amarata, Yenagwa Bayelsa State. And don't forget to stay connected. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and X at Niger Live TV, or visit our website at www.nigerlivetv.com. Thank you very much. My name is Appah. Enjoy the rest of your day.